What if I told you that in Australia, your call sign tells everyone where you live, what license you hold, and how seriously you're expected to operate? No guessing, no vanity confusion, no hiding. This is ham radio, Australian style. Let's talk about it. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to HamShackTV. I'm your host, Josh, AA4WX. Appreciate you tuning in. This is a new series called Ham Radio Around the World. This series is brought to you by WorldRadioLeague.com. Go check out WorldRadioLeague.com and use coupon code HamShackTV. You'll get 10% off. They're already great prices, folks. This is amazing logging software, so I want you to go check it out. WorldRadioLeague.com, coupon code HamShackTV. So this new series, again, is Ham Radio Around the World, where we will break down how amateur radio works outside of the United States. Same hobby, different rules, different culture, different call signs. Today we're starting with Australia. In Australia, amateur radio is regulated by the Australian Communications and Media Authority, or the ACMA. Unlike the FCC, ACMA oversees all spectrum services nationwide, and enforcement is taken seriously. There's far less tolerance for rule bending, and far more expectation that operators know the rules before they key up. Australia has 3 license classes: Foundation, Standard, and Advanced. Each tier unlocks more bands, more modes, and power. But here's the key differences from the United States. Your call sign permanently reflects your license level. Now let's talk about the call sign structure. All Australian call signs begin with Victor Kilo, or VK. That is Australia's international prefix. The number that follows tells you the operator's state or territory. VK1 is Australian Capital Territory. VK2 is New South Wales. VK3 is Victoria. VK4 is Queensland. VK5 is South Australia. VK6 is Western Australia. VK7 is Tasmania. VK8 is the Northern Territory. So when you hear Victor Kilo 4 Alpha Bravo Charlie, for example, you instantly know you're talking to someone in Queensland. No lookup needed. In Australia, call signs aren't just decoration, they're signal. Geography, license class, experience, accountability. Shorter call signs are typically associated with higher license classes. That alone changes on-air behavior. In the United States, 2 operators can sound identical on paper, even if their experience levels are worlds apart. In Australia, the call sign tells the story before you speak. Australian power limits are generally lower than the United States extra class privileges. That forces better antennas, cleaner signals, smarter operating with massive geography and remote populations. HF radio isn't optional, it's essential. Efficiency matters more than brute force. Australian ham radio culture is typically disciplined, respectful, self-regulated, service-oriented, and there's less tolerance for things like bad operating, ego-driven behaviors. We've talked about that here before. Frequency abuse. Radio is treated as a shared national resource, not a playground. And now, if you're a United States operator, this will surprise you. Like I said, call signs actually mean something. Your license class is visible, power is restrained, and enforcement is real. Respect is also expected. Australians prove that structure doesn't kill the hobby, it strengthens it. Now, Australia reminds us that amateur radio doesn't have to be loud and powerful. It just has to be respected. Next in the series, we're going to talk about New Zealand, which is Zulu Lima. If you're watching outside the United States, drop your country below. I may feature it in this series because we're going to go global. Goodness, I couldn't speak. I'm Josh, AA4WX. Thanks for watching Live, Learn, Transmit. Welcome to the Shack. 73, AA4WX, WSCB 693.